They laughed when he walked into the courtroom, just another black defendant to them. But everything changed the moment he spoke. What happened next stunned everyone in the room. He entered the courtroom dressed in a simple suit, calm but carrying the weight of years behind him. The officers exchanged smirks, clearly underestimating the man standing before them. They saw just another black defendant, ready to be judged, but they didn't know his story. As the trial began, whispers filled the room. Who was this man, really? Despite their laughter and sneers, he stayed composed, never revealing his true identity. The tension grew, but he remained silent, letting the system show its flaws. Then, in a moment that shocked everyone, he revealed who he truly was, not just a defendant, but the FBI director himself. The courtroom fell silent, officers' faces turning from amusement to disbelief. This wasn't the story they expected. It was a powerful reminder that appearances can deceive and respect is earned beyond skin deep. He watched as the courtroom's atmosphere shifted instantly. The same officers who had mocked him now struggled to mask their shock. The judge paused, adjusting his glasses, processing the revelation. Questions flew fast. How did this happen? Why was the FBI director here as a defendant? The man before them wasn't just any defendant. He was a man who had spent decades fighting crime from the highest levels. Yet here he was, targeted and judged based on assumptions. The irony was impossible to ignore. A powerful black man, brought low by prejudice. His calm presence challenged every stereotype in that room. Even those who doubted began to rethink their biases. It was a moment that tore through the usual courtroom script and exposed deep flaws in how justice was often administered. This wasn't just his fight. It was a battle against a system that underestimated black excellence. The courtroom buzzed with whispered conversations as the truth settled in. The FBI director, once laughed at, now held the room's full attention. His story wasn't just about power, it was about persistence. Years of fighting corruption, breaking barriers, and leading investigations that reshaped the nation's security. But none of that mattered when prejudice entered the room. His presence challenged the very idea of who could hold authority and command respect. The officers who laughed were now forced to confront their own assumptions. The case against him seemed trivial in comparison to the larger message he represented. As the trial unfolded, it became clear that this was about more than legal charges. It was a mirror reflecting society's struggle with race, power, and identity. The director's dignity in the face of mockery spoke louder than any argument or accusation. The defense attorney rose, speaking not just for the director, but for every unheard voice. She highlighted how systemic bias often clouds judgment, turning powerful black figures into easy targets. Evidence was examined, but the undercurrent was clear. This trial was about more than facts. It was about challenging deep-rooted prejudices embedded in institutions meant to deliver justice. The courtroom watched as the layers peeled back, revealing uncomfortable truths about assumptions and inequality. Even some officers began to shift, their skepticism replaced by a grudging respect. The director's composed demeanor and unshaken resolve set a new tone. This moment wasn't just a personal victory, it was a symbol of resilience. It called attention to the fight for equality and the ongoing struggle against unfair treatment. The courtroom had become a stage for a greater conversation on race and respect. As the trial continued, the director's past accomplishments were laid bare. Decades of service protecting the nation, breaking down criminal networks, and mentoring young agents. Yet none of that shielded him from the doubt and disrespect he faced because of his skin color. The courtroom was forced to confront the uncomfortable reality that even the highest-ranking black official was not immune to prejudice. His strength wasn't just in his title, but in his ability to endure and rise above discrimination. The officers who once laughed now listened carefully, their attitudes visibly shifting. This trial became more than a legal battle. It was a powerful lesson about the importance of recognizing black excellence in all its forms. The message was clear: Respect should never be assumed. It must be earned and given without bias. Faces of Struggles reminds us, don't let stereotypes blind you. Stay aware, stay empathetic. The prosecution tried to press charges, but the evidence didn't add up. Witnesses who initially seemed convinced now wavered under scrutiny. The director's calm confidence unsettled the courtroom, revealing cracks in the case built on prejudice rather than facts. Behind every argument was an unspoken tension, the battle between assumption and reality. The courtroom transformed from a place of mockery to one of reckoning. The officers' earlier laughter was replaced with silence as they faced a truth they hadn't expected to confront. This trial wasn't just about one man's innocence, it was a reckoning for a system that too often judges black men unfairly. His dignity and strength highlighted the urgent need for change, reminding everyone present that justice must be truly blind, not clouded by bias or ignorance. The judge's voice broke the silence, calling for fairness and reminding everyone of the law's true purpose. He acknowledged the weight of the moment, how justice must rise above prejudice and honor the truth regardless of race or status. The courtroom shifted from tension to reflection, recognizing the significance of what had just unfolded. The FBI director's presence had exposed flaws not only in the case, but in the attitudes held by those meant to uphold justice. The officers who once mocked now showed respect, understanding that respect and authority come from character, not skin color. This trial became a powerful statement that courage and integrity could break down barriers and change perceptions. It was a turning point, not just for the director, but for everyone witnessing the power of dignity in the face of discrimination. As the final testimonies wrapped up, the courtroom was filled with a heavy silence. The director's unwavering composure had shifted the entire narrative, forcing everyone to rethink their biases and assumptions. This wasn't just a case about a single man. It was a reflection of a broader struggle many face daily. The officers who had laughed were now confronted with the reality of their own prejudices. For the first time, respect wasn't demanded by a title alone. It was earned through resilience and truth. The trial highlighted the ongoing fight against systemic racism and the need for genuine understanding. It was a stark reminder that beneath every label is a person deserving dignity and fairness, no matter their background. This moment was a victory not just in court, but in the hearts of those willing to see beyond skin color. Outside the courtroom, news spread fast. The story of the FBI director who faced prejudice and stood tall sparked conversations nationwide. People debated what justice really means and how often assumptions cloud fairness. His courage became a beacon for those fighting against racial bias in institutions everywhere. The incident exposed uncomfortable truths, but also inspired hope for change. It reminded everyone that even those in the highest positions can't escape discrimination, and that standing firm in your truth is a powerful act. The director's experience wasn't just a personal ordeal, it was a wake-up call for society to challenge stereotypes and demand equality. The ripple effects of this case reached far beyond the courtroom walls, encouraging others to confront their own biases and fight for a fairer future. In the end, the court ruled in favor of the director, acknowledging the baseless nature of the charges. His victory wasn't just legal, it was symbolic. It stood as proof that justice must be impartial and that respect is not to be denied based on skin color. The courtroom experience left a lasting impact, pushing conversations on race, power, and prejudice into the spotlight. The FBI director's story became a powerful reminder that dignity and truth can break down walls built by ignorance. It inspired many to keep fighting against injustice, knowing that even in the face of adversity, strength and integrity prevail. This moment reinforced the need for continuous change in the justice system and society at large, ensuring respect and fairness for all, regardless of background. Don't miss out on more powerful stories that challenge the status quo. Subscribe now and join the movement. Faces of Struggles brings you the voices that deserve to be heard.